So today we're going to show you how we're going to be fertilizing our mature fruit trees here on the farm. Join us today. Hello everyone, this is Dwayne with Edge of Nowhere Farm, and we're coming to you this morning on a Saturday morning. It's beautiful. It's about 40 degrees this morning. It's the first Saturday in March. We normally would be starting this process of fertilizing our fruit trees about 2 weeks ago, middle of February, but we got a late cold snap in February, which happens from time to time, and we did get that this year. We were busy anyway, so it actually worked out pretty good. But normally we would be fertilizing our fruit trees 3 times a year. We would do it basically middle of February, sometime in May, middle of May, middle of May, and then in September. So easiest way to remember that for us is we typically do it on Valentine's Day, Memorial Day, and Labor Day. So those are the 3 times that we do our deep fertilizing on our fruit trees. So now one of the things that's different this year, prior to this year, we've been using Bioflora crumbles, which is basically a chicken manure, a composted chicken manure, same time frame. So we were still using February, May, and September time frames, but we would utilize the Bioflora crumbles. So if for some reason you don't have this available to you, some type of compost available to you, then you can use those. So you can find those in retail and nursery stores. So that's what we've used prior to this. But one of the advantages to us raising livestock now here on the farm is we have access to our own manure and our own compost with that manure. So I'm going to link one video here real quick at the beginning of this that actually shows how we utilize our pig manure and compost our pig manure. And that's actually what we're going to be utilizing for our mature fruit trees, which is what we're going to show you here today. Now, I already talked about that in that first video, what this turns into, and you could really see if I dig down into this. I mean, it's not finished yet. Smells like dirt. So not 100% finished, but that's not what we were shooting for. So what you're going to see here in a minute is we're going to take this unfinished compost that's just wood chips and pig manure, but this unfinished compost, and we're going to use that around our fruit trees. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to cut and show you exactly how we do that next. Okay, so we're over here next to our Anna apple tree. So this apple tree is about 3 years old. In fact, right at about 3 years old. It produced a fantastic harvest for us last year of amazing apples. So what we're doing, actually, if you can kind of see behind me, if you can see on the bottom part of the tree at least, it's already leafing out. We've already got plenty of bud break on this. We've got some little applets on there that I can see now. So we've got already some great growth because one of the advantages of having wood chips on the ground is this is basically continually fertilizing and continually breaking down. We do water once a week, even during the wintertime, to keep it nice and moist under the soil. So when we do get that bud break, it still has some nutrition available to it. So really what we're doing today is we're really just kind of giving that a boost and really kind of spreading out the amount of time that nitrogen and phosphorus is going to be released down into the soil to help with root growth, fruit development, which is what we're counting on now. So fruit development, and then of course the growth of the tree. So that's what we're focusing on. So what you're going to see over to my far side here, I've got a wheelbarrow that's actually full of the composting pig manure. I've got a couple different types of rakes and then a shovel obviously for the compost itself. So essentially what we're going to be doing, you can see one of my drippers here. We utilize 4 gallon per hour drippers. I've got 3 of them on each one of our trees. I'm going to link another video. You can actually see what we do as far as planting our trees. So if you watch that video, one of the things you're going to know is where I've got this low spot in the ground here. The reason that's low is because this is actually a ring. So we make essentially a donut. So what you're going to see Lori and I doing is working on this ring. So you'll see it here in a time lapse in a moment, but I'll explain quickly what we're going to do. So we're going to take that compost, we're going to spread it on top of the wood chips. Here is us utilizing the rakes to rake that compost down into the wood chips and then water it real heavy. So we'll finish off this section with taking our hose and just letting it water all of that compost in. So we'll spray it down in, and then as we move on to our next tree, we'll leave that water running into the ring to let this ring fill up with water and bring that compost and that nutrition down into the soil level. And then of course, in the end, because that compost isn't finished, it'll continue to compost down in with these wood chips and compost completely. So that's the plan. A couple other things. Number one, we're working with compost, and it's actually unfinished compost. Even though I'm pretty confident it's pretty safe, because I'm working with compost and we're also working around wood chips that are going to have mold in it. We do utilize these little particulate respirators. This particular one is by SAS. It's their 8610. Anyways, it's one of those N95 respirators. So we do utilize these. I'll have gloves on, and of course eye protection as well. So anytime you're working with compost, it doesn't matter where you got it from, doesn't matter if you made it yourself, doesn't matter if it's made out of manure or if it's made out of some type of veganic compost. No matter what, you want to utilize protection just to make sure you're keeping yourself safe and healthy while you're taking care of your fruit trees, making them healthy. So we're going to go ahead and cut now, and we're going to show you a time lapse of us actually doing this process of fertilizing our fruit trees. So that's coming up next. Okay, so you just saw a time lapse of the process that we use for fertilizing our mature fruit trees. So really the only thing that you haven't seen yet that we didn't show in the time lapse, which is running behind me now, is we have a hose. So we got two hoses out here. We got one that we're gonna use to just kind of spray the compost in. Second thing is a larger hose. I think this is one of those 3/4 inch hoses, so it's got a nice heavy flow. So we've got a nice heavy flowing hose that's gonna go right into that ring. So essentially what this is gonna do, this is gonna give this tree its first real deep soak to really work that compost down into the soil. So what we do is we'll leave this running, let it completely fill up this ring so it gets a nice deep soak, and then we'll move on to the next tree. So as we're fertilizing the next tree, this one's watering that ring in. Then we take this hose, move down to the next tree, put it on the ring, let it deep water that ring as we move on to the next tree. So we've got, I don't know, probably about 50 to 60 or so trees that are our mature trees. Might be closer to 70 now. So we got a good 60 or 70 trees we need to do this on here, hopefully today or over the next couple of days, to get all of our fruit trees fertilized for this season. And then essentially we're done. The only exception would be a couple of our newly planted trees. We'll use our other process using fish emulsion, kelp, and also a B1 on a couple of our newly planted trees. In fact, I'll link a video here that actually shows how we fertilize our younger trees. I'm pretty sure in that video I was actually fertilizing one of our blackberry trees. So we do use that for the first 6 months or so, 6 months to a year, and then we put them on this schedule that we've just shown you. That'll be the same process that we'll use going forward for the rest of their lives. So essentially that's it. So we hope you enjoyed the video today. I know we've had a lot of people that are subscribers that have asked us, you know, what do we do to fertilize our trees? How do we fertilize our trees? The process, how often do we fertilize our trees? So hopefully this video answered that for you today. So really glad that you joined us today. And you know, hey, if you haven't done it yet, if you can like and subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. And really, I think more than anything, it'd give you an idea to help see what we do with our processes here on the farm, particularly with fruit trees, and we'll kind of step you through that process as we go through this year, kind of starting with the fertilizing process. We'll walk you through a few of our trees through the fruiting process, also through harvesting, which is our favorite part. But yeah, if you can like and subscribe so you can follow us that way. And hey, if you've got any comments, please leave them down below. We'd love to see your comments, to see what you guys have going on where you are. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. If I don't know, you know what, I'll do my best to find out. Or I'll just say, hey, I have no clue. But ultimately, I just want to thank you again for joining us today. And this has been Dwayne and Lori reminding you, if we can farm on the edge of nowhere, so can you. All right, we're rolling.
What exactly am I doing?
You're just gonna help me kind of rub it in, and then obviously we'll spray it down. Make sure we get the little drippers back up. Is it okay with me with my hands in my pockets? Okay. Prior to that, we were using biochar. No, we weren't. What were we using? Biochar sounds cool. Bioflora. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So prior to that, prior to this year, we were using Bioflora. I'm going to start over because I've flubbed up this whole thing completely. Yeah, let's go ahead and stop it. What I'm in front of now is our Anna apple tree. So I've actually been in front of this tree before. Well, maybe not one of the videos. I'm going to start over because that's actually not true. That's a lie. Then we're going to utilize the forks, what are those? Rakes. So, good. Like do that like your little pinky or something. It's like, flick it. Okay, so you got some water on your hip. Somehow you watered yourself.
Does that matter?
Not really. Okay, so we need to eat breakfast. I'm getting punchy, and I need coffee.